Thank you all so much for coming out to our, I don't know if it's our 12th March Madness, but it is our capstone March Madness. But before we get started, it is my distinct honor to invite a new entrant into the DC community, and that is Jason Sinha Raja, the president of business operations for the Nationals. He's coming to us from Kansas City, so I said, welcome to the big time now. But Jason, we are delighted to have you here, and I know that people will be excited to get to meet you. But I will cede the mic.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, come on, I think we can do better than that. Good afternoon. All right. I'm Jason Sinha, the Washington Nationals President of Business Operations. On behalf of our entire organization, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Nationals Park today. It's a real privilege for us to host Mayor Bowser's 12th and final March Madness event. Mayor Bowser, thank you for your support. Thank you for all you've done, and thank you for everything you continue to do for our great city. I joined the Nationals in January of this year, and these last 2 months have been an incredible whirlwind. But what I've learned is the fans here are passionate and very knowledgeable. They expect the best. As Mayor Bowser has said, it truly is a sports capital here in DC. It seems especially appropriate that we are hosting this event today at Nationals Park, a venue that attracts more than 2.5 million visitors a year, as we get ready to open our doors widely for the upcoming season, which starts here at home on April 3rd against the Dodgers. Was that for the Dodgers or was that for the Nationals? Just checking. Our ballpark contributes more than $50 million a year to the city's budget, not to mention the economic opportunities and jobs created for DC residents and the community programs implemented by our organization. We're as proud of the positive impact our team and our ballpark have had on this city as of anything else. So whether you're here for the exciting baseball, the delicious ballpark food, or plan to take in one of our incredible concerts, we're here and part of the city all the way through. So thank you again for your support. Thank you for the warm welcome to DC. And it's my pleasure to welcome back the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, Nina Albert. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Well, I do want to just give another thank you to the Nationals for hosting us today. And also, Jason, we're extremely excited to have you here, but I also want to recognize and thank our longtime friend, Gregory McCarthy, for his leadership and partnership in the District of Columbia. So, it is an exciting time for sports. Baseball season kicks off next week, and today is the official kickoff for the NCAA tournament. I am terrible at sports puns and references, so I'm going to leave that to others this afternoon. None from me. I'll try and throw in one, but it usually fails when I try. So, it is hard to believe that today is Mayor Bowser's 12th March Madness. I know many of you have been coming to this event from day one and haven't missed a single one of them. And so today is going to be a little bit different. It is going to be about gratitude and recognition of all of your hard work and what we've accomplished over the last 12 years. DC is a unique city. I say this all the time because we have a business community that is very close and supportive of each other. That is not true in every city. Sometimes it's much more cutthroat or, whatever. But in DC, we are here to make sure that all of us are succeeding together. We are innovative, and we are comprised of people who are committed to the success of this city. March Madness was born out of that idea, that the district would put out opportunities to partner on transformational projects early and to build excitement and momentum for what can be created. And we wanted your expertise and your vision to be how our city develops. That has always been Mayor Bowser's vision, to unstick stuck projects, to grow in a way that uplifts neighborhoods and reflects our community's values and needs, to empower local developers and ensure that all of our talented entrepreneurs and investors, particularly developers of color, women developers, and others, get a fair shot. And I will just say, I use this stat all the time, but in the national commercial development world, fewer than 1% of commercial developers are people of color. In DC, 17%. As I look back over what the mayor has accomplished in the past 11 years, in partnership with all of you in this room and across the city, it is astonishing. We have invested $1.5 billion in affordable housing. We set out a goal of achieving 36,000 new units in 5 years. We built 42,000 units in 5 years. 12,000 of those are affordable housing units. Mayor Bowser committed to investing in our CBEs. When she started her mayorship, the spending on local CBEs was $317 million. This last Green Book committed more than $1.5 billion in annual spending this year to be contracted with CBEs. Mayor Bowser invested more in Ward 8 than any other mayor to date, with over $1 billion in St. Elizabeth's and a hospital and a state-of-the-art arena alone. And more than anything, she set out to do what she said she would. And she likes to use the phrase promises made and promises kept. And we are not only focusing on delivering those promises over the last 11 years, but we're going to run through the tape and finish what we started and make sure that every knot is tied before the end of this year. DMPED's job, Jason, DMPED means the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. There are many acronyms. That is the shortest of them. Our job here at DMPED is to set the pace for government, to deliver results, and to finish strong for DC residents and businesses. And that is what we are focused on this year. Again, running through the tape. We are driving home the projects that were once stuck, and now they have started, and we're nearing completion. So we're going to complete those projects that we started. We're making sure that policy and the regulatory environment in DC continues to improve. We know that this is always a pain point, and there's always a difference of opinion, but it is our job and our commitment to keep making it better. We're repositioning downtown as a place to live, play, work, by bringing more people, transforming spaces, delivering more uses, and adding more energy to a dynamic and mixed-use subset of neighborhoods, each with their own flavor and draw, because downtown is not a monolith. It is a combination of neighborhoods, and it is our job to help define them. We're growing and diversifying our economy by doubling down on what we're already strong at and what we're good at. Tech, innovation, and our incredible advantage in recruiting and retaining top talent, as well as being the sports capital, is what is claiming our place as a city that continues to compete at the highest levels. And we're doing the hard work of laying the foundation for what is new and yet to come. And that includes the success that we will achieve at RFK and ensuring that 180 acres of opportunity delivers jobs, housing, and revenue for our city. And last but not least, this little buzz that happens in the back, which is, what is the opportunity at the Southwest Federal Center, where 230 acres that is there now, that is primarily underutilized federal office space, how does that become a new downtown neighborhood south of the mall, north of the wharf? So before I wrap up, I want to set the stage for what you're going to experience today. First, you're going to hear about our RFPs. We've got DGS Director Delano Hunter and DMPED Real Estate Director Latrina Owens, who are going to talk about the big projects that we've got coming out this year before the end of the year. Then we're going to reflect on what we've delivered together, transformational projects across all 8 wards. And finally, we're going to hear from our mayor about how we did it. I'm excited. I hope you are too. It's going to be a slam dunk. Okay. Now with that, I'm going to turn it over to a real sports fan, DGS Director Delano Hunter.
Across Washington, D.C., transformation is happening. Over the last 12 years, under Mayor Muriel Bowser's leadership, the district has made historic investments across all 8 wards. At the center of that work is the Department of General Services.
Yes, is DGS here? Yeah, I know that's right. I had to say something about DGS in a second.
As the construction arm of DC government, DGS builds, maintains, and sustains government facilities that keep the district running. Through this work, DGS has expanded economic opportunity, awarding millions of dollars in contracts to businesses of all sizes, from certified business enterprises to small business enterprises. DGS is about growing opportunities for all district businesses. From $3.9 billion in school modernizations.
Welcome back!
To nearly $600 million in world-class recreation centers. The district is building modern schools, shelters, fire stations, and public facilities designed to serve our communities now and into the future. And that work continues. DGS is looking for the best builders, architects, engineers, and construction professionals to help shape the future of the nation's capital. Here at DGS, we build what matters.
I also want to thank my team at the Department of General Services. Where's DGS?
Good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Delano Hunter, and I'm proud to serve as the director of the DC Department of General Services, and I'm excited to be here at March Madness. I think the 12th, this is maybe my 10th or 11th, so I'm really excited. This has become an annual tradition to share the great work of the agency, and I'm grateful to Mayor Bowser. I don't think she's here just yet because it's, her last term, her 12th year, but also this is the 15th year that DGS has been in existence. We are a relatively new agency, and we have caught our footing under Mayor Bowser. It's not been easy, but we have caught our footing because the mayor has been a champion for facilities, so I wanted to start off just by thanking her. And I want to give you just a snapshot. You saw some video, but I want to put some numbers to that. Through the mayor's support, we've invested $3.9 billion to modernize or upgrade over 120 schools. And it runs the gamut. We're talking about brand new schools in Ward 3 like MacArthur, to brand new high schools in Ward 8 like Bard, to modernizations of facilities that have been vacant for 40 and 50 years like the Minor Early Childhood Education Center and everything in between. I'm just as excited about small capital, roof replacements, HVAC replacements, boiler replacements. As a result, we have a much stronger and much more resilient public education facility portfolio. Nearly $600 million to modernize our schools and our recreation centers, rather, including our recreation centers and aquatic facilities. Nearly $81.8 million to renovate or upgrade 34 fire stations, and $7 million nearly to upgrade our senior wellness facilities. So as we run through the tape, I want to thank again Deputy Mayor Albert for her leadership and your amazing team, and also my colleagues at the Department of General Services. Again, our portfolio is growing by the day at nearly 42 million square feet with an assessed value of $21.8 billion. We are proud of the work that we do, and there are many of our partners here that are in the room. I want to thank you because our success is a joint success, and thank you to our community stakeholders as well. All right, so let's get to some of the opportunities that we have before you today to present. The first is the Heritage, the New York Avenue shelter. The Heritage will be located in Ward 5, and it's a $68 million investment in the district's health and human services infrastructure. This project will deliver a modern and approximately 400-bed facility designed to meet the diverse needs of residents experiencing homelessness. What makes this project especially impactful is its comprehensive design. The facility will house 5 distinct programs tailored to meet a range of needs, including housing, workforce development, and employment services, as well as for our most vulnerable residents, varying degree of health clinics and low barrier shelter access. So this RFP is scheduled to be released this spring, and substantial completion is anticipated in summer of 2028. Next project, RFK Sportsplex. The Sportsplex, located in Ward 7, represents a $77 million investment in recreational infrastructure and youth development in the district, and this number is likely to grow. This project will deliver a state-of-the-art indoor athletic facility designed to serve the district residents of all ages, with dedicated space for gymnastics, boxing, indoor track and field, and an emerging e-sports program. What makes this project stands out is its focus on creating a multi-use environment that supports both traditional athletics and modern programming. This is a major long-term investment, and this RFP is anticipated this spring with substantial completion slated for fall of 2030. Next project, Anacostia Pool. I don't know if you've been there lately. This is actually the district's first integrated pool in the 1940s. The Anacostia Pool modernization is estimated to be at approximately $15 million, and we will expand the pool footprint to 50 meters, allowing the facility to support competitive swim meets, as well as daily swim practices and access for residents of all ages. All right, and next we have an additional project, the Project Management and Construction Management RFK Infrastructure and Roadway Construction. This RFK infrastructure project, located, of course, in Ward 7, is a multi-year $10 million investment focused on critical infrastructure and improvements, supporting the broader RFK campus. This opportunity centers on providing project management and construction management services for a heavy civil scope, including roadway and infrastructure enhancements that will help position the site for future development. This is a multi-year engagement with the RFP anticipated this spring, with substantial completion slated for fall of 2030. All right, and last but not least, the Wharf East Pier Project, located in Ward 6, is a $6 million investment in maintaining and strengthening one of the district's most active waterfront destinations. This project will focus on a reconstruction of the East Pier, ensuring long-term structural integrity and continued use of this key public and economic asset. From a development standpoint, this RFP is slated to be released this spring as well, with substantial completion projected for spring of 2027. So as you can see, the agency is moving forward. We have caught our footing under Mayor Bowser, and we continue to grow. Again, I want to thank many of our partners here, our CBEs, our SBE partners. We're proud DGS is the largest contributor to the district's annual CBE and SBE goal. And again, our success is a joint success. So be on the lookout for this and much more. This is just a snapshot. Many, many more opportunities coming down the pipeline, and look forward to continued partnership. All right, now I'll turn it over to our Director of Real Estate for DMPED, Latrina Owens. Let's give her a hand.
I just asked, did I have some walk-on music or a video or something, but I don't. It's fine. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to March Madness. Before I get into today's announcements, I have to say this moment is a little full circle for me. At March Madness in 2019, then Deputy Mayor Brian Kenner stood on this stage and announced my appointment as the Executive Director of the St. Elizabeth's East Redevelopment. A lot has happened since then. St. Elizabeth's East has continued to grow, evolve, and take shape in ways many of us envisioned years ago. And now I'm back before you at the final March Madness of Mayor Bowser's term as the Director of Real Estate. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm grateful to continue doing this work and with all of you, our partners. So maybe my walk-on should have been started from the bottom, now I'm here. Now, when most people hear March Madness, they think brackets, buzzer beaters, and fierce competition. But here at DMPED, March Madness means something a little different. It means bold ideas, big opportunities, and a room full of people like you ready to help shape the future of Washington, D.C. So today, we're putting a few opportunities into play. I'm pleased to announce 2 development opportunities that are live on DMPED's website now. The first is Parcel 1, the farm parcel at St. Elizabeth's East. An opportunity to build on the incredible momentum already happening on the St. Elizabeth's East campus and help shape the next phase of this transformative project. The second opportunity includes properties along Georgia Avenue that border Emory Heights and the Brightwood communities, an area with strong neighborhood character and an opportunity for thoughtful development that supports the corridor while respecting the surrounding residential communities. But as with a good March Madness bracket, this is just the first round. And we also want to give you a preview of what's coming in DMPED's development pipeline. Coming in April 2026, we will release, we'll release Parcel 16 on the St. Elizabeth's East campus, continuing the momentum of this incredible campus. Then in summer 2026, we'll bring forward 3720 MLK Jr. Avenue Southeast, another opportunity along the Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue corridor with tremendous potential for community serving development. And finally, for those who remember this one, 1338 G Street Southeast, also known as Watkins Alley. It made an appearance in the 2025 March Madness, but coming back to the court for real this time with, with a renewed opportunity to reimagine this historic space into something vibrant, thoughtful, and connected to the future neighborhood. And lastly, today, we are also relaunching Office to Anything. Office to Anything provides a 15-year real property tax freeze for office to residential conversions in downtown DC. So there we go. So you see Kyle Reeder on the screen. So he is here today and he has information. So if you need more information about the program, please talk to Kyle, the development manager. So today is not just about 2 opportunities. It's about a pipeline of projects, new tools, and a continued invitation for the development community to partner with DC and deliver impactful, forward-thinking development across our city. So the opportunities are live. Get your teams ready and get in the game.
All right, so, okay. You've heard about what we're going to get done and the RFPs that are available now and others that will be available soon. We want to take a moment to talk about what we've delivered together over the last 12 years. As a special feature of this year's presentation, and to continue the college basketball theme for DC March Madness, we're excited to be recognizing the district's Elite 8 transformational projects across all 8 wards that have been delivered under Mayor Bowser's leadership and in partnership with all of you around the room. I also just want to say that this was tough, right? If you have to pick 8 projects that have happened over the last 12 years, you got to know that these have been either some of the hardest or some of the most impactful. And so we have a ton of incredible projects, but we're hoping that this is a little taste of why we're so proud of what we've accomplished. So without further ado, we'll start with our first honoree, and it's actually a dual recognition benefiting 2 projects, 1 site, 2 projects. All right, I'm going to go into my radio voice. The district's Elite 8 project for Ward 1 goes, no, I can't do that, goes to the Faircliff, a joint venture, Somerset Development, Jonathan Rose Companies, and Housing Up. and Novel 14th Street, led by Crescent Communities. Together, the Faircliff and Novel 14th Street replaced the former 80-unit Faircliff Plaza East apartment complex, quadrupling the number of housing units on site. The Faircliff was the all affordable side of the development, delivering 125 homes, including replacement units for the former Faircliff Plaza residents. And over 80% of those residents chose to return to the Faircliff once it was delivered. The project received substantial support from the district, including a $17 million worth of financing from the Housing Production Trust Fund, as well as LIHTC tax credits from DCHFA and the Department of Housing and Community Development, which together yielded a total of $50 million in equity. The DC Green Bank also provided $1.85 million in a pre-development loan to enable the project to achieve LEED Platinum. Novel 14th Street is the market rate component of this new development, delivering 197 new homes. Novel 14th also hosts a local business, Land of a Thousand Hills Coffee, which serves residents and neighbors ethically sourced coffee with a mission of giving back to global communities. Together, these projects have brought a dynamic and vibrant new community to Columbia Heights along 14th Street. Please join me in congratulating the teams of the Faircliff and Novel 14th Street for being the district's Elite 8 project for Ward 1. And we are going to invite all the teams at the end of the program to take photos up here with the mayor. Ward 2, this next project is a special one for DMPED, particularly because of its connection to March Madness. The district's Elite 8 project for Ward 2 is Station UNO. Though many people in this room will remember it as Parcel 42. This is a joint venture between Dante's Partners, the 8th Street Community Development Corporation, Irving Development, and Group 360. This project dates back to the Fenty administration in 2007. Bua and I were probably both working in DMPED at that time. The district-owned parcel at the corner of 7th and R Street Northwest, just north of Rhode Island Avenue, sat vacant for roughly 20 years until the Bowser administration broke ground in 2022. Parcel 42 was among the first RFPs announced in the inaugural 2015 March Madness and was the first project to undergo the district's Our RFP process. Our RFP is a community-based approach implemented by Mayor Bowser's first term that engaged residents before the RFP was released to ensure and understand what their needs, wants, and priorities were so that we could write that into the RFP and consider their voice before we got going. And in 2024, we officially opened Station UNO, which has transformed that vacant lot into a beautiful and vibrant residential community. Station UNO received substantial support from the district, including the land conveyed by DMPED and $25 million in LIHTC investment from DCHFA. Additional financing came in the form of $15.6 million loan from the Amazon Housing Equity Fund. There are now 110 units of housing, the majority of which is reserved for households earning 60% of median family income or less. This project demonstrates that affordability and luxury deserve to go hand in hand. Please join me in congratulating the teams at Station UNO for being the district's Elite 8 project for Ward 2. Next up, in Ward 3, we have another kind of dual project. Now this is going to be a tough one. The Lisner Louise Dixon Hurt Home and the Louise on Western, developed by Urban Atlantic. This community in Friendship Heights is one of Washington, D.C.'s oldest long-term care facilities, and its mission is to serve low and moderate income D.C. seniors. The first element of this project was to renovate the Lisner Louise Dixon Hurt Homes assisted living residence, delivering modernized rooms, community spaces, and amenities for its residents. By preserving and modernizing assisted living capacity in this high opportunity neighborhood, the home advances the mayor's goals of geographic equity and aging in place. On the other side of the campus came a new construction project, the Louise on Western. The new 4-story expansion developed by Urban Atlantic added 93 affordable senior apartments. More than half of the new apartments are reserved for residences earning $32,000 or less for a 1-bedroom, or $37,000 or less for a family of 2. Importantly for the district, the project was the first project west of Rock Creek Park to receive financing from the Housing Production Trust Fund, helping to advance our goals of producing more affordable housing in every part of the city. Together, the modernization of the home's assisted living facility and the new independent senior housing are ensuring the campus can deliver a fully integrated, affordable continuum of care and providing real options for DC seniors. Please join me in congratulating the teams at the Lisner Louise Dixon Hurt Home and the Louise on Western for being the district's Elite 8 project for Ward 3. And now I'll invite Randall Clark up to the stage.
I don't know if I should be following the deputy mayor. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Randall Clark, and I'm proud to present the 4th honoree, the Parks at Walter Reed. And did I just turn the whole thing off? Yeah. How do I advance? Even better. The historic Walter Reed site is not only special to the residents of Ward 4, but holds a unique place in our nation's history. The Department of Defense transferred the operations of the old Walter Reed Hospital to a new consolidated Walter Reed National Medical Center in Bethesda in 2011. While negotiating with the Army, the district government conducted a community planning effort that spanned 4 mayoral administrations and created a vision for a campus that would provide a mix of uses, create jobs for district residents, provide affordable housing, and reintegrate with the surrounding community. Even before her current office, Mayor Bowser was a major part of this effort as an ANC commissioner and as the Ward 4 council member. During the Bowser administration, we acquired 66 acres of the campus in 2016 and executed our partnership with the master development team of Heinz Interest, Urban Atlantic Development, and Trident Development. Over the past 10 years, we've demolished a 2.5 million square foot bunker of a hospital, built 2.2 million square feet of new uses, including 1,300 new apartments, 280 new condominiums, 50 townhomes, affordable housing for veterans, seniors, and affordable assisted living, 150,000 square feet of retail anchored by Whole Foods, Chase Bank, Starbucks, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, and local businesses like Nail Saloon, Molly's Pet Care, and Juneberry Garage. And we've hosted hundreds of public events for the Ward 4 community, all centered around acres of parks, open space, adjacent to Rock Creek Park. And there's still 1 million square feet to come. This year, we'll see construction start on over 200 new townhomes on the campus. We'll also welcome new retail and restaurants in the marketplace. And there's still a few development opportunities on the campus, so I encourage anyone in the room to reach out to me or the development community for the parks to find out more. But for now, please just join me in recognizing and congratulating our development partners, Heinz, Urban Atlantic, and Trident Development, for continuing to move the Parks at Walter Reed forward and being the district's Elite 8 project for Ward 4.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Stucker with the Deputy Mayor's Office. Today we'll be talking about Ward 5 and the Reservoir District as the Elite 8 project. The Reservoir District, McMillan's site, is at the corner of North Capitol Street and Michigan Avenue in Ward 5. The district purchased this property in 1987, So when we talk about Mayor Bowser bringing things to fruition, we purchased in 1987 for development, more than 30 years. And Mayor Bowser's dedication brought this project to fruition. The project has a community center that, through Mayor Bowser's leadership, delivered in 2024. It includes an aquatic center, a 6.2-acre park, and thanks to the dedication of Delano Hunter at the Department of General Services, Director Freeman at the Department of Parks and Recreation, Gil Bain as a general contractor, as well as Kramer Consulting as the owner's rep, this project delivered. The new publicly owned recreation center demonstrates that the district can deliver state-of-the-art public facilities within a historically significant site. That includes a sunken plaza with open-air filter bed, the reconstitution of a memorial fountain, and the rehabilitation of sand silos, regulator houses, and sand bins. Our long-standing development partners at EYA, Trammell Crow, and Gyre Lynch stuck with us through all those times of uncertainty. EYA right now is in the middle of delivering its townhouses. There are 146 townhouses, 99 of which have been sold. The townhouses have amazing views of not only the Reservoir Park Recreation Center, but also the reservoir itself, the Washington Monument, and the Howard University Clock Tower. For the multifamily, is poised to commence construction by Gyre Lynch Development Partners. That will deliver a new grocer and retail to this community. There will be 449 multifamily units, with a third of them affordable, as well as 141 senior affordable units at 30, 50, and 60% of AMI. The Reservoir District is a great example of a public-private partnership that is committed to deliver the district's vision to provide needed housing, jobs, and revenue. And Mayor Bowser's steadfast leadership delivered this project. Please join me in congratulating the team at Reservoir Park for being the district's Elite 8 project for Ward 5. And next, in Ward 6, is the Wharf. If you don't know what the Wharf is, you haven't been in D.C. It's one of the most amazing locations. Andrew's here from the Wharf Properties. It really has created an opportunity for the city to be known as a waterfront community. The Wharf transformed the mile-long stretch of the Washington Channel and created a new community in the District of Columbia. The Wharf was supported by, at the time, a $198 million TIF pilot, which was the largest in DC's history. And it was paid off 15 years early. That tells you that not only did it transform and allow this project to go on, it was a good use of public funds. Our development partners at Hoffman & Associates, Madison Marquette, and District Wharf Properties delivered 3.5 million square feet of development in 2 phases in 2017 and 2022. It was really important that the team did it into 2 phases, because when each delivered, it created a new community for the city, which is something that we're seeking to replicate as we do new developments across the district. With a mixture of office, retail, residential, and hotel, and anchors like the Anthem, the Wharf has the 3 largest debt financings in DC history, including a $1.5 billion debt financing in 2025. The public realm of the Wharf has also set the bar for how new communities can be developed and programmed to provide visitors and residents with year-round programming. More than 100 events occur annually, including 8 to 10 marquee events, drawing 50 to 100,000 attendees per year, or per event. You can shop for fresh food at the Municipal Fish Market, shop for fresh produce at the Farmers Market, launch a kayak or paddleboard off a recreation pier, eat at one of the many restaurants, and warm up by the fire pit at the Grove, all within the 10 acres of waterfront parks and public space. Please join me in congratulating the team at the Wharf for being the district's Elite 8 project for Ward 6.
Hello, I am back. The Elite 8 project for Ward 7 is the Skyland Town Center. It's been 10 years since Mayor Bowser first broke ground on the Skyland Town Center. transforming a long-stalled project into a thriving community with housing. Are they doing it? With housing, retail, and now homeownership opportunities. Since then, we've delivered 263 new homes at the Crest Apartments. We've welcomed financial institutions like Chase, PNC Bank, and we've also opened 7 fast casual restaurants. We've also brought the first Lidl in the district to Ward 7. And in February this year, we cut the ribbon on the final phase of the Skyland development. 126 new for-sale townhomes, 24 for-sale condos, 10,000 square feet of retail, and a new public plaza. That means more residents, more jobs, and more opportunities in Ward 7. Please join me in congratulating the Ward 7 team the Ward 7 Elite 8 project for the Skyland Town Center. I also just want to give a shout out to our Ward 7 council member who has joined us. Thank you for joining us. And now we're going to Ward 8. And you know this is my baby. That's right. Take me through there. Okay, so Ward 8, you see we have a lot of partners on this one. The St. Elizabeth East project, and you know that's my baby. All right. So St. Elizabeth East is no longer a vision. It is a proven platform for investment and growth. Under Mayor Bowser, the district has made the largest public investment in Ward 8 the Ward 8 redevelopment than any administration. That commitment is not conceptual, it's visible. Today, over $1 billion has been invested into St. Elizabeth East, and the investment is delivering real results. We've revitalized 11 historic buildings, bringing 252 residential units online through adaptive reuse, preserving history while producing housing. We delivered catalytic anchors like the Care First Arena, alongside community-serving assets like Whitman Walker Health, expanding access to critical services on campus. We're advancing essential public infrastructure as well, from the new Cedar Hill Regional Medical Center to the 801 East Men's Shelter, ensuring that this community is inclusive. On the housing side, we've added 88 townhomes with more on the way. We've also built the foundation for scale, over 21,000 linear feet of new roadway infrastructure, unlocking development across the campus. And we're creating place, not just projects, with neighborhood retail like Sycamore and Oak supporting daily activity and long-term vibrancy. But what matters most is how that $1 billion has been deployed with intention. Every investment has been reconnecting this campus, driving economic opportunity, and creating a mixed-use environment that works for residents in the market. And we're not done. There are over 1,500 residential units in the pipeline across parcels 6, 7, and 13, along with additional retail and mixed-use development that will continue to build on this momentum. So for this audience, the takeaway is simple. Mayor Bowser has made the investment, the infrastructure is in place, the market is taking shape, and now it's time to scale. St. Elizabeth is not emerging, it's established. And the next phase is about partnership and delivery. So once again, join me in congratulating all of our partners for the St. Elizabeth East campus redevelopment for being the Elite 8 project for Ward 8.
Well, I think that we should all be proud of this work, and I know that even though there may be certain teams that were recognized, there are many of you in the room who participated in any one of these given projects. We are going to take a time out. So just a little less talking at you. Oh, sorry, there's another council member that's joined us, Council Member Donnie Crawford. Now I feel badly if I've missed anybody else. Okay. We're going to take a little bit of a timeout. We want to make sure that, we get your juices flowing again. So reconvene. Feel free to, connect with each other. 4:15, we'll sit back down. Thank you all. Okay, it is my distinct pleasure to bring up a long-term friend, a former colleague, a former deputy mayor. Oh, never mind. Please pause. Okay, roll it.
What does it mean to make a promise and deliver?
I made a lot of promises about affordable housing, but I won't be able to do it alone.
It starts with a commitment. And for Mayor Bowser, that commitment was simple. The district's prosperity belongs to all 8 wards. 11 years ago, we stood in a different city, full of potential, but also full of stalled projects and untapped opportunities. Where some saw gaps, she saw an obligation. And from that obligation, DMPED March Madness was born.
When we think about March Madness, we think about an opportunity to talk about some of the future opportunities that we have in the District of Columbia.
And so we got to work and pushed the envelope, invested in more affordable housing than any city in America, unlocked district-owned land, empowered local developers, created real pathways for small businesses to grow and stay. We transformed vacant lots into thriving mixed-use communities, proving that luxury and affordability belong in every part of the city.
I want to thank Mayor Bowser for creating affordable housing for dreamers like me.
All of this would not be possible without the vision and leadership of our mayor. She has worked tirelessly to create the pathways to affordable housing across our city.
We claimed our rightful place as the sports capital, first by bringing home titles to the District of Champions. Then we doubled down by investing in our teams as engines of economic growth. We opened Audi Field, bringing housing and jobs to Buzzer Point and Care First Arena, delivering a destination worthy of Ward 8.
I am excited about this facility. Yes, the vehicle will be basketball, but the impact will be better.
We kept the Wizards and Caps where they belong, here in downtown, while reimagining a bold, world-class Capital One arena. We reimagined our waterfronts as prime areas for growth. The Wharf, Navy Yard, entirely new neighborhoods alive with energy. We brought new life to Walter Reed and McMillan. New housing, green spaces, community-serving amenities. We delivered fresh food and new beginnings at Skyland Town Center. At St. Elizabeth's East, we opened Cedar Hill Hospital, the first new hospital east of the river in a generation. And when downtown needed a comeback, we didn't wait.
We are celebrating innovation, investment, and inclusive growth.
I remain very optimistic about the downtown, very bullish.
We converted offices into homes, filled empty spaces with new businesses, and gave people a reason to be downtown. Because progress isn't just measured in square feet, it's measured in opportunity. It's the rhythm of the Go-Go Museum, the flavor of Sweet Tooth, the small businesses that finally have a permanent home. It's the soul of the district, and that's what keeping a promise looks like. But if you know Mayor Bowser, you know she isn't looking back. She's looking ahead, because the biggest play is yet to come.
For the next 12 months, we are going to what? Run through the tape.
So, what does it mean to keep a promise? Well, look around. Promises made, promises kept. This is our moment to double down, to run through the tape, to keep building a DC that works for everyone. Are you ready?
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy March Madness.
Come on. Let's hear it for March Madness. I am honored to welcome to the stage, and please join me in a grandiose welcome to our former Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, and now our Global Head of Community Engagement at Amazon, Brian Kenner. Now I'm going to need a little drum roll. Do we have a little drum roll? Hi, Susie. Where's that drum roll? Come on. I need the biggest, most epic welcome, the most epic welcome for the mayor of the greatest city in the world, the Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Right on cue. Welcome, everybody. More importantly, welcome, Mayor, to just a brief fireside chat to talk a little bit about projects as the Deputy Mayor is full service. You know, as we saw in the video, promises made, promises kept is very much a theme. And, you know, thinking back and, you know, as I look even around this audience here, lots of people have been involved in whether it's real estate or small business growth in the district for a long time. And so they remember the promises made, and I think that they can see the promises kept. But I'm actually a little curious about the personal side. When you made some of those early promises about unsticking projects, McMillan, St. Elizabeth's, Walter Reed are three that just come to my mind. What sort of kept you up at night, or what sort of was that moment that you thought, well, you know, if I did this, then maybe those projects would be unstuck?
Well, my first promise was that I would hire the best of the best. I would recruit them from wherever. I would meet them at bars before 5Ks on the coldest day in Washington. And I would make him the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. And that was Brian Kenner. That was a promise I made, and I worked really, really hard at that. That was one of the last appointments that I made. And I have this saying that I tell all of my team: I will only hire somebody or make an offer when I find the right, perfect person, and I don't care how long it takes. And so that was the case. I knew that economic development would be a main tenet of the work that I did as mayor, is what probably, doesn't keep me up. It wakes me up in the morning, making sure that we can deliver on opportunities for DC residents. So that was one promise that I've made, and I've been able to maintain that throughout 12 years, and I feel really grateful to have just a tremendous team. So let me acknowledge the wonderful big deal team, current, past, and future. Give DMPED a big round of applause. So unsticking projects. So I served on the council for almost 8 years. I chaired the council's committee on economic development, was my last leadership position. So I'd watched a lot of projects. I believed firmly that the mayor, has a lot of latitude with economic development, even though I was following a mayor that I replaced, frankly. But I believed that sitting from that perch, I knew the things that I didn't think were getting the most for us. And some of those things I changed or I tweaked. Others I knew that we had to go in and get moving again. St. Elizabeth's was a big example of that in Congress Heights, in that the community was promised an anchor. The community was promised a big employer. And it wasn't for lack of trying that others hadn't delivered it, but we believed that we had to go in first, that we had to be the big anchor, that we had to kickstart it. And we promised that if we did that, the rest would come. And that's exactly what has happened in Congress Heights. So you will remember, you came to me and you said, well, Mayor, I think we should do this practice stadium for the Wizards. And I said, well, I think we should, but I think they should do it, not us. And we went back and forth a lot of times, a lot of ways, and it was convincing that we had to be first. And fast forward 12 years, we've invested, and Latrina Owens is here, who is our director at St. Elizabeth's, over $1 billion in Ward 8.
That's great. That's amazing. Obviously, that approach worked. $1 billion is a lot of money. I would also say that sort of nowhere, in my opinion, is that more visible than housing. I personally will always regard you as the housing mayor, and when I go to Los Angeles or Newark or Chicago, people marvel at how DC's both approach but its commitment to housing has been. And when I think about that, it's not just big places, Navy Yard, Wharf, but it's also everywhere in the District of Columbia, all 8 wards. So I guess what is one piece of advice that you would give to other mayors who are thinking housing is hard, housing is expensive, housing is just difficult to do? How would you sort of coach them about housing?
I mean, to me, it's supply and demand. It's one of the most basic principles of economics. If you want housing to be more affordable, you need more housing. And it is too expensive. And I think all of us assembled need to come up with ways going into the future, how we can make the production of housing more efficient and cost less. But municipalities, we need to be a good, steady partner. And one of my earliest promises was to make the Housing Production Trust Fund more predictable. And I watched for many years on the council the amount of money go up and down depending on how many deed or recordation taxes we were collecting. And I believed firmly that if that number was consistent, the private sector would kick in and do its part. So private sector, for-profit and nonprofit, would find great projects. They would build relationships with capital partners. They would build their own capacity. They would come up with big ideas, transformative ideas, and we would be there to help close the gap. So I pledged that we would ensure that the Housing Production Trust Fund had at least $100 million every year. And we've done that. I think I'm on my 12th budget. I think we've done that 10 out of the 12, or maybe 11 out of the 12. And in 1 year, we did like $400 million. So in 12 years, we've invested more than $1.4 billion just from the Housing Production Trust Fund. That doesn't count all of the voucher support and LSRP. It doesn't, that's so in everything that we do at the Housing Authority. That's not the whole affordable housing number, but that's the big one. So what I would tell other mayors, first of all, make it a priority, set a goal. And we set a goal, and we set the goal not just for one part of the city, but for all parts of the city. And let your partners help you win. And as a result, we met our 36,000 unit goal. I think if we haven't met, we're almost there at the 12,000. We're done. So we met the affordable housing goal within that. And so that's a big thing. But even with all of that, we have to now protect it and preserve it. And, all kinds of things happen, like global pandemics and DOGE and tariffs and all of the things that none of us, thought about in 2015 necessarily happening all at once in our jurisdiction. And so part of DMPED and Nina and her team have been very focused on making sure we're right-sizing the ecosystem so we can get back to the level of production that has gotten us here. That's why the Rental Act was so important. That's why Rental 2.0 will be equally important. And we want to attract the type of investment that made DC the fastest or have the highest per capita spending in affordable housing in the nation. And we can do it.
We can do it. I agree. And Mayor, now housing is actually going someplace where, you know, we probably didn't expect it in 2015, which is downtown. Sort of the new housing frontier for the District of Columbia. As you mentioned, the district also sort of leads the nation in office to residential conversions. And 10 years from now, when someone visits downtown, what do you think that they'll say about sort of like the vibrancy of our downtown now that housing is also, you know, sort of at the forefront?
Well, I think that whenever there's kind of challenges, there are also lots of opportunity, and our downtown is undergoing, you know, a generational change, a generational shift. The way people work has changed since the pandemic kicked off a real embrace of remote work that I wish would reverse itself, but unfortunately, I don't think it is. AI is going to further change how people work, and our city, on both counts, may have a oversized impact when it comes, and some of that's good, but some of that is going to really change the way we have to make sure people are employed and stay employed in good paying jobs. It's going to change the way building owners think about their buildings. It's going to challenge all of the architects in the room to think about, what do you do with big old grand buildings that are mostly empty and are soon going to be for sale. So it's going to challenge all of us to think about it. Now, unfortunately, I'm not burdened by being one of the ultra wealthy. But if I was, I would see this as a tremendous opportunity to bet big on DC. I would see it as a tremendous opportunity to buy a building that maybe 5 years ago I wouldn't have been able to. I would see it as a great opportunity to showcase an idea and attract investment from people who weren't thinking about DC 2 years ago, who are thinking about it now, to invest in DC. And so we're already seeing some of that energy, and I think there are investors who can kind of stick and stay and, you know, weather the present kind of where we are right now to get to where we're going to be in 10 years.
Love that, and obviously that was a call to action to many of the people in this room to think about investing in our downtown. You talked a little bit about transformations, so let's maybe pivot a little bit to sports.
Yeah.
I know some people have called you the sports mayor. I think you might have even called yourself at times.
I call
sports
myself
mayor.
that every town. Every chance I get, yeah. Sports mayor.
I know that there's a study talking about how the District of Columbia is the global sports capital, not only of the United States, but of the world. And I think that all of those monikers, you have earned that, whether it is Audi Field, Care First Arena, upgrading Nat Stadium, which we are in today, saving the Caps and the Wizards, bringing football back to RFK. It seems like you've gotten pretty good at getting these deals done. I guess give us one lesson as you've sort of gone through these negotiations, one lesson that's kind of a secret to success in getting these things done.
I think the one lesson is to kind of keep pushing, because all of these are big deals, they're complicated. We're frequently on the other side of the table of some very tough people, and they're mega, you know, they've generated a lot of wealth for themselves in their businesses because they know what they're doing. But we never undersell ourselves. We know our destination, and we know that we won't be undersold in how we do it. So the way I approach all of these is from our values as the district, from my kind of personal belief that economic development transforms neighborhoods and it produces jobs, it creates opportunities for our businesses, and our city needs to figure out how to get those big projects done. I also believe firmly that when you are the chief cheerleader and negotiator and closer of the deals, it's not just the person on the other side of the table that we have to figure out. Is everybody that's on my side of the table and behind me, and those are the taxpayers of the District of Columbia. And so always being able to tell them why a big investment, like investing in a professional sports team, is good for the city, good for their families, good for their neighborhoods, and good for our fiscal stability. So that can't be undersold. And I'm grateful because of the long tenure that DC residents have afforded me to know those, to have learned those lessons, but also know how to deliver at the table and for them.
Totally appreciate that. And maybe let's stay on football for a second, if we can. Especially because RFK, I think, both means something historically to Washington and in the future means a lot to Washington, D.C. That project seems to be moving fast. Demolition, master planning's underway. But as you sort of talked about, business opportunities, jobs, investment are coming. What kind of legacy do you believe bringing football back to D.C. will have on both the immediate community of Hill East, but also to the city at large?
Well, global capitals, global cities have certain things, in my opinion, and their sports teams are one of them. And I am just proud that when we look in 2030, my team set up this graphic for me. I hadn't really thought about it in these terms until I saw this, and I looked at it and I said, that's all the teams in our city limits by 2030. And there's only, I think, Jack Evans likes to say this one, I think there are only 5 other cities that can say that, maybe 4 others. And I think we're the 5th that have all of their sports teams. And so I think when you, as a global city, we want to be able to say that. So in terms of the legacy of RFK, much has been written and said about when the team left. And I think even more will be written and said about how we got the team back. And I think, I know DC residents, and they like to win, and they feel very proud that a team that left us, we got them to come back. They feel good about that. They feel good about when 2 teams or 3 teams thought that they were going to leave us. I've never seen DC residents more depressed, by the way. This was not a good time, not a good time in Washington. So I said to myself, you got to fix this, kid. These DC residents are really sad. And so I always knew we had the best site and could make the best deal, and that's why we'll have the Wizards, Capitals, and Mystics that stay in Washington.
Deserves applause. I think we can all look around here too and remember what this stadium and what the Nationals have sort of meant to Washington, D.C. I see Gregory McCarthy here, who's literally been with this project before and during. And so I think that the legacy of what sports and, more importantly, what investment can mean in communities can really be transformative to the District of Columbia.
Well, none of the investments that I talked about that are current now would have happened without the success of Nats Park. I mean, bar none, because people like to throw up, well, in this city, the sports investment didn't work, or in that city, it didn't work. Oh, if you look at all the studies, it doesn't work. And I just say, will you look at the Capitol Riverfront? Because it has worked for us.
That's exactly right. Mayor, you've talked about building, and you have built sort of incredible momentum which sort of brings me to something that you announced last November. You announced last November that you would not be seeking a fourth term as mayor. The next mayor will inherit an incredible platform that you have built. But there's some of those things always look really easy from the outside, and I know that sometimes they are not. They can be incredibly hard. I guess what is one thing about economic development that the next mayor needs to know, or that you would want to make sure that they understand that might not be obvious to them?
Well, I think it's not always obvious that the world-class public education system that we're building, or the #1 park system that we built, or the great transportation that we have, or the public safety infrastructure that we rely on, it all depends on how successful we are in our economic development strategies. It all depends on that. If our downtown doesn't come back and our buildings don't maintain their value, we won't be able to invest in world-class city services. So that's not always obvious, and it's not always easy to explain to the public who likes and has become accustomed to really generous and really expensive human services programs. So we want all of the things that make our city work, but we have to make sure we have a robust economic development strategy that we're not shy about investing in.
That's great advice, great advice. As we kind of wrap up here, I wanted to maybe turn to finding out a little bit more personal information about you. When I was doing some research, homework to sort of prepare for this, I tried to look at some of the things you've said over the last 12 years or so. So two things that I think I can affirmatively say. One is that you have said that it may not have been your first job, but one of your jobs was to be a tour bus guide in Washington, D.C. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. Okay, great. Something else that you said is that you have some definitive thoughts about mambo sauce. I know that you've said that in the past as well. Is that true?
That is true.
Okay, great. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thank you.
I'm just going to leave it at that. So we'll build on that here. We'll build on that a little bit. So just some rapid fire questions. Morning person or night owl?
Definitely morning person.
Definitely morning person.
If you call me after 10 o'clock, don't call me after 10 o'clock.
Don't call me after 10 o'clock. Got it. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee, okay. Last book or TV show that you watched?
I must confess to being binging recently on the show many of you probably watched years ago, Scandal.
I also have been watching Scandal for the first time because I did not see it. Great show, by the way.
It's interesting.
It is.
So anyway, I say that, and I brought that up, but obviously I'm reading books. I was going to share some books that I know you all are reading. But I say that to say that sometimes, and all of you, especially now, it's a kind of a tense time. You need to turn it off. You need to turn your brain off, and you need to do something mindless, fun, or scandalous.
Do you want to give any of the books? You had mentioned some books. Or?
Well, I know I've been to a number of these fireside chats, and everybody's talking about abundance. I'm late to getting through it, but I am, and it has caused me recently even to ask our team, even on our project, even on RFK that we're doing now, like, do we have to do some of these things just because we've always done them? Do we have to have this review or this report or this regulation? And so I think at the end, and I think, Brian, you're on this, right? Is that we're going to use it as a kind of case study in what some of these layer upon layer of regulation and requirement can cost a project. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that.
That's a great thing.
Uh-huh.
Just two more questions.
Okay.
piece of advice you give to young leaders?
I always, it depends on what they're working on, but I think the biggest thing that I share with people, and I've shared recently around some of our projects, I believe that there are windows of opportunity that open and close. And sometimes the window stays open for a long time, sometimes it doesn't, and you never really know how long it stays open. So regardless of what you're working on, recognize when the window's open and get your ass through it.
That's right. Get your ass through it. Last question. If you had one word, to sum up your next chapter after being mayor, what would it be?
That's hard to answer in one word.
We'll take a couple then.
It definitely won't be rest. I'll say this, and then I'll give you a word. But I have worked now, and I was just telling somebody, almost by the time I leave office next January, I would have been in D.C. government 19 and a half years. Wow. As council member and now as mayor, and I was in local government 10 years before that. So almost 30 years in government. And I just feel so grateful for what we have been able to accomplish. And I do give this piece of advice as well. If you love politics and policy like I do, there's no better job than being mayor of your hometown. So I'm just really grateful for that opportunity. People are very curious about what's next for me. I know that. And I think the words that I would use for my next chapter, and this will make sense maybe to me only, is as promised.
As promised. That is a great thing to end on,
Thank you.
Mayor. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, I am going to wrap up this program, but before I do, I'm just going to express some personal thanks on behalf of people in the room, Mayor, for what you've done, for what you're doing, and just the recognition of the incredible talent here. So thank you on my behalf and on everybody else's behalf, and I know that we'll all continue to celebrate and thank you over the year. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my team, incredible people at DMPED who don't say, that bar is too high. They say, how high and how can I get over it? I get to welcome new people. We're constantly bringing in new people into DMPED, as well as saying goodbye to really talented people as they leave. So as a new person, we have Danilo Pelletieri as my senior housing advisor. A great talent and deeply knowledgeable person. Oh, there he is, Danilo. And then I also want to say a heartfelt goodbye to Ben Fritsch, my Director of Communications. I said, hey, I think the week of March Madness will be easy. Just, take off the early part of the week and then plug back in on Wednesday. He's been running the entire week. But anyway, we're really excited about that. So, we now, you can go visit tables. We have, the bar is open. There is food. And so continue to socialize. We would like to invite each of the Elite 8 teams to come up and take a picture with DCH. Oh, yes. Okay. So anyway, just be prepared to come right up as we're done with the program. And I also want to thank DCHFA for sponsoring the food this afternoon. Thank you.